Tell you about our next big night out. This is Chef John Bettine from Oslo Scandinavian, a newer restaurant in the Valley. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm super excited about not only your restaurant, because I think we needed something like that. It's like a taste of Europe right in our own backyard.
Right. It's a different twist on what we have currently in the Valley. So we're bringing different flavors to the Fox Valley.
Something new, something different, and the big night out menu. Basically, if you were at our last one, you know what fun it is. It's just a fabulous meal, several courses, and you get to try all different food, and just come out. You'll meet me. Deb, are you going to this one too?
You bet.
You bet. Maybe we can get Deb or my husband out, but we had just a great group of people, met so many fun, nice people, and learned so much and tried all different new things. So, John, let's talk about the menu. What are we serving for this big night out?
Well, we're starting with a cranberry feta salad, and then we're going to move on with a traditional Scandinavian cold fruit soup.
Ooh.
It's really tasty.
It sounds weird, but it's basically, it's not, it's nothing like a warm soup. It's fruit. It's just refreshing.
And some spices, some seasonings to really liven up your taste buds.
Absolutely.
Really.
Get the party started. Here's a little bit of video of the restaurant. It's absolutely beautiful. It's in an old house right off College Avenue in near downtown Appleton. So we've started out with our wonderful salad with cranberries and feta cheese, then our fruit soup, and then one of my favorite things to have on a big night out.
We're going with a shrimp cocktail.
Can't go wrong with that.
No, of course not.
Yeah. And then the main course is what we're going to be making right here. Tell us about what we're going to be eating for the main course.
We're going to be having a chicken Wellington and frikadeller duet plate. Each of the items we do have on our menu, but for the big night out, we're doing
two of them. Yeah.
Two of them on one plate.
No one's going to leave here hungry. So
no.
First of all, tell me about the second item you mentioned.
The frikadeller?
Yes. What in the world is that?
It's fun to say. It's a beef and pork patty with some traditional Scandinavian seasonings, and then it's grilled, and it's served with like a brown gravy.
Ooh! And you make it homemade in-house?
Homemade in-house. All of our food we make in-house, homemade. It's trying to stick with the European theme on that. Everything we make ourselves.
And then a wonderful Scandinavian parfait for dessert. And dinner's going to be served with a glass of wine. It's just going to be a great time. And call for reservations, and we'll give you that number to call. But I know it's starting to book up fast. So we're actually going to make the other half of the entree that we're going to be serving that night. And this is a big seller on your menu.
Yes, this is the chicken Wellington. It's a Wellington, more traditionally.
Beef, steak,
beef
you think,
is,
yeah.
and people think more of England, but we've taken it across the channel to the Scandinavian twist on it with the Havarti cheese that we use in it.
Ooh.
And
the sauce, too.
And the sauce
yeah. Speaking of the sauce, okay, we're going to start out, and we're going to reduce, we've got some white wine.
White wine and some tarragon.
Okay, any special kind of white wine?
I usually go with the Chardonnay.
Okay.
But any drinkable white wine you have.
Dry white wine, and then quite a bit of, this is just dried tarragon, a good, tablespoon or so?
Good tablespoon.
Okay, and we're going to get that going, and we want to let that reduce, and it took about 10 minutes, really.
Yeah, you want it to reduce by at least half.
And can you see what we're looking for? And it almost looks like it boils right away, so just simmer it on low, and but what that does is really concentrates that flavor in there.
Yes, it does.
Ooh. All right, at this point, when we've got it reduced, we're going to add some heavy cream.
Yes.
About how much, John?
I'd say 3 to 4 ounces for we're going to be making 2 here.
I like a lot of sauce, so.
So, yeah.
Tell me about there.
That'd be good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're going to heat the two of those together and let that cream reduce a little bit. Now I've got some mushrooms over here, so there's going to be mushrooms in this Wellington too. Ooh.
We saute the mushrooms, and one of the important things to remember is to let them cool down, because when working with puff pastry, you don't want to heat it up too much.
Hard to work with.
Yeah, and it kind of gets too mushy on you.
So we've got some sliced, cleaned mushrooms that I'm just going to start sautéing in a little bit of olive oil or butter, and we'll let those cook up and get a little bit soft. Season them with a little salt and pepper.
A little salt and pepper.
Okay.
Keep the seasoning simpler on the mushrooms, and let their flavor come through.
Okay. And let those cook, what, about 5
Yeah, until they're nice and sautéed.
Soft. Okay, all right, we'll get that going. And we actually have some that have cooled, because that is really important.
Yes,
do that ahead of time. All right, so we've got some chicken breasts here, 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts.
And you want to make sure they're clean. You want to clean the fat off the edges and trim that up.
Because nobody wants to get a bite of that.
No, it just doesn't taste as good. Another important facet to remember is to pull your puff pastries out and let them thaw.
Okay.
You can't work with them frozen. Most of the times they're sold in the grocery store frozen.
Absolutely.
So I just like to lay them on the counter with a towel over them.
Okay.
Let them thaw. You don't want to get them dried out or anything.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So let's start putting this together.
All right. When you have your thawed puff pastry, you want it quite pliable.
Okay.
Now we're going to build it upside down.
Okay.
So we end up inverting it to bake it. So we'll start out with our jalapeno Havarti cheese. It's about 1.5 ounces.
Ooh, and we've found that right at Festival Foods, by the way. It's not too hot, but if you are worried about the spice, you could just use a dill Havarti.
You could use a dill Havarti
regular
or
Havarti.
a plain Havarti if you wanted. The jalapeno, like you said, is not too hot. It just adds a little bit of kick to the flavor. Then after that, you want to add your mushrooms right to the top of that. And then we take our chicken breast and fold it in half and lay that right on top.
Okay.
And then putting it together, you want to bring the corners of your puff pastry up and pinch them together.
Make a little bundle.
Yep. And then we're going to go along the seams same way.
So no rolling. You don't have to roll any of this out?
No, not at all. You got to get a pinch pretty hard. You want to make the dough.
Almost looks like a big dumpling.
Yeah, it kind of does. Then what I do is I roll it over and then tuck the bottom up a little bit.
Let me get your little cookie sheet. They go onto a cookie sheet. Now let's say you're making this at home and you're having people over for dinner party. This could be done ahead of time in the refrigerator,
Way
right?
ahead of time. You can even freeze these if you wanted to.
Let's do one more just to show how it all comes together.